since Niagara Falls is in the process of trying to draw more tourists and visitors in the winter, this is working out really well for us. The images, particularly those taken by our chief photographer, Jim Neese, are extraordinary. He comes back on days like the ones that you're seeing now on the screen, and just the work that he brings back is incredible. And the funniest thing is just about anybody can go to the falls and snap a picture. It's that gorgeous in the wintertime. But he comes back with images and shapes that are just...
These are so beautiful.
Are
these on the US side? Those are those are my favorite. Every single one of them look like a different person.
When he takes pictures like that, they go all over the world.
Yeah.
They've been shown in Britain, and the Associated Press shares them.
Now, is this our side or the Canadian side or both?
Mostly our side.
Yeah.
Not all those pictures
Our
are
side
from
sounded
the
very
Gazette,
territorial.
well, the truth is that our side is looking to revamp their winter image, and this couldn't have come at a better time over the last 4 years. So, in fact, there was even a festival around the holidays called Jingle Falls, where there was an artisan market, and there were special events, and it was pretty successful for the first run. And so the attempt is to bring businesses and tourists and people looking for fun to Niagara Falls in the wintertime.
And it's just so beautiful. It's magical.
Look at this.
It's so magical. It's unlike any other place in the world because with the combination of the crystals and the sunshine and that ever-present rainbow, it's a wonderful experience. And the park is pretty quiet, as you can imagine, in the winter.
I love the American side for a variety of reasons, but I love it because it's so raw. I mean, even with all the improvements, it really is so raw. It's so real. It's so, it really transports you to it.
It's not commercial.
Yeah.
Exactly. It hasn't been as rearranged as the other side.
I love it.
We
get so close.
I went one day to Niagara Falls, Ontario to talk to the head of the landscaping school there, because I really wanted to know, how do we do that on our side? And he said, you know, I look across the water every day and I envy you of your ancient forests.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's
it,
perfect.
Isn't it? Oh my gosh,
so
it's just beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I advise anyone who's looking to get outside this winter,
just do it.
To grab a friend and go for a walk. You can park for free by Three Sister Island.
You know what I love about the American side is that you feel, I mean, I would go there when I was at Rosary Hill. We would go and just hang out and do papers and sit on the Three Sisters Island. And
not during the winter, I'm taking it. During the summer and the sunshine.
Don't get all judgy on me, Michelle. But I just think that it's beautiful, and people should go there, bring your camera.
Oh,
I mean, didn't we get some great national knowledge?
Yes.
I mean, acknowledgements from the weather people that came in from all over Canada and America, and it was just, they were just loving standing at the falls going, look at where, I'm in like a fairyland.
Now, why are we love to see what looks like candy, but why are we having
chocolate?
Hearts and red and, red,
I know, thank you for dressing appropriately for my red day.
It was definitely coincidence.
I have a couple of things I was hoping to talk about. The first is one of the stories I've done lately. Niagara Honeymoon Suites. Marianne Hess is the owner, and she's been doing some extraordinary things with her little chocolate company in Niagara Falls. And she just recently, a few years back, found out, well, we all found out, when the Marriott Courtyard was renovated out of an old business building called More Business Forms, it became this beautiful new hotel, but it turns out before it was More Business Forms, it was a chocolate factory. It was called
Niagara
Chocolate Factory.
So the hotel is
trying... And Willy Wonka was there, and we were
trying to... The hotel is joining Marianne and trying to restore some of that history. So there are pictures of the chocolate company throughout the hotel.
Oh, cool.
Marianne is trademarking the logo Niagara Chocolate Company, and she's recreating it. I brought you some chocolates. So these are Triscuits, which were made by the Niagara Chocolate Company back in the turn of the century.
Did they have Triscuits in the
I did not know, and she assures me that they did them.
And we're not eating those, right, from the turn of the century?
Well, no, these are not. These are fresh. Good point. Yes.
Chocolate alley.
They even have a little, because they're supposed to look hand dipped. I'm
Yeah, they
turning the
do.
wrong way. So
they do.
they even have a little corner where, oops.
Here, I'll hand dip one of those. Here, watch this.
Can I hand dip
And we
one?
dip. There we go.
She is extraordinary. So as part of the Niagara Chocolate Company logo, she created assorted chocolates. Oh no, she sent these for you guys.
Okay.
And some chocolate hearts. I don't know if you guys can get that.
And this all has to do
Well, the
with
cool part is
the
history.
history.
No question, it is chocolate.
These are awesome.
Aren't they strangely awesome?
Yeah.
So this is her grandmother that her family did not know, who worked, she found, at the chocolate company. So they didn't know anything about her except a historian at Oakwood Cemetery found out that, oops, hold it still, that her grandmother
Perfect.
worked at the chocolate
What was her
company.
grandmother's name?
Lillian Viola something.
She looked like a
But,
Lillian. What a
so
beautiful.
Marianne is kind of capitalizing on that with cards, and there's a whole packet of history about, I know I'm holding these things way too fast, but this is a,
Now they're the
the way
old
the
more
chocolate
business
company
ones.
used to work.
Good.
Right there.
She had that.
There you go.
Okay, there they are.
They're at the old Moore business forms?
More business forms, and it's now the Courtyard Marriott. So
Awesome.
they're talking about even wafting the aroma of chocolate through the hotel.
Like, you had me at wafting. You had me at wafting.
Like in Buffalo, or you know, at the waterfront, where we smell the Cheerios all the time. And everyone's
Or when
always
you're
talking.
on Rodeo Drive and you're standing outside the Giorgio building and going, really? They squirt the Giorgio out of the
I
building.
like
thought it was funny you were
that. I like
saying
that
that.
analogy.
Perhaps that's
So,
so
you know, we always think of the falls, I mean, in the old days, everyone talked about the honeymoon capital of the world. And so
Absolutely.
you actually, your hearts and your candy and all this is sort of like wanting to reinvent this idea that it's the perfect place to come for your honeymoon, winter, summer, spring, or fall.
I just want, I have been on a campaign for years now, writing columns every now and then. I try not to, I try not to harp on it, but I keep saying, you know, I go to the park in the summer and I see people coming from all over the world. I've talked with them. They've just married or they're honeymooning, and so it frustrates me that when they come here and they're coming to us at the greatest time of their lives, and we just go, you know.
And there's that great lyric.
Seen that? What?
In Niagara and a sleeper, there's no honeymoon that's cheaper, and the train goes slow.
Shuffle off to
Shuffle
Buffalo.
off to Buffalo.
See, and you gotta have that.
An actress on
So
the
now,
show.
some kind of a contest that you wanted
Yes,
to tell
so-
us about?
Well, first of all, the things that I've been putting forth in these columns are, you know, why isn't there a walkway where people can buy a brick, romantic lovers lane, where people can buy a brick if they've been married at the falls or if they've even visited with their loved one, and then their children can come and visit the brick, and their grandchildren can come and visit it. A beautiful romantic walkway, or tables in area restaurants where there's a white tablecloth and the newlyweds are celebrated, and there's maybe because
And a
people
rose,
love love.
and a rose.
And a rose, always a rose. People
Like a
love love,
bachelor.
and so we would get excited with these newlyweds, and I just think so. In the silence that responds to my ideas, I was thinking maybe I could try something new, and I stumbled across a romance novel set in Niagara Falls during the Festival of Lights called The Festival of Love. I was interviewing a woman who had a story in Chicken Soup for the Soul, and she said, yeah, I also wrote this romance novel that took place in the falls, and a little light bulb went up over my head.
Sent it to the right person,
So all
didn't
you
you?
have to do is say something to Michelle, and she's on it like that.
There was a light bulb, and I thought, romance writing contest. So we've started one, the Niagara Gazette and the Lockport Journal. And what we're asking people to do is send romantic stories. Either write a romance story, just a short excerpt of one, maybe where the boy meets the girl, as fiction, or write a real love
That's such a
story.
great idea.
And-
What if after that we have a reading and people can come and
Well,
we have a live reading of it?
You are always thinking.
What if we give it to Lifetime? What if we submit it to Lifetime for one of
Absolutely.
their...
Well, Harlequin in Toronto has agreed to judge these.
Oh, okay.
And one of the prizes is an hour-long coaching session with one of the editors there. And so I'm going to put all the details up on Facebook. But,
Oh, okay. I was
but,
just going to ask you,
Niagara
any
Gazette
other
Facebook,
details?
where you can also see Jim Neese's photos, and all our wonderful stories.
Okay.
And of course on our
How
website.
long are you asking? I mean, submission should be a
The
page, 2
deadline,
pages?
we're asking for about 800 to 1,000 words, and the deadline is February 2nd.
Start writing, Mary.
And
We're gonna put them in a special section on February
and
11th.
we can't wait until you come and read us the winner,
Oh,
right?
it will be a
And have
fun
the winner
story.
come and read it too. So thank you so
I
much.
love the idea of reading them aloud on
Yeah.
stage.
Okay, we're in.
Great.
We're in.
You got it. Okay,
Thank you
so
so much.
we want to thank Michelle DeLuca for being with us today. And we do have to take a short break. Before we come back, we will continue our focus on the falls and turn our attention to a local food pantry that has evolved into so much more. Please stay with us.